folks. Well, it is time. We have been waiting all show to do this. The madness is here. March Madness is here. All 72 teams are going to be cut down to 68 by Wednesday night going into Thursday. The tournament will start. There certainly isn't as much buzz around this tournament as there has been in the past, but there are certainly some good matchups and some good underseeds that I like to possibly go the distance, if not make a long run in this tournament. So without further ado, if you are listening on audio, keep listening on audio. If you are listening on video on the Brandswood YouTube channel, what I'm going to go ahead and do real quick is share my screen. And that's why if you are listening on audio, you may want to go to the YouTube channel and take a look at this, because I have pulled up here the official bracket of the 2022 Men's Tournament Challenge on ESPN.com. And we are going to go through the entire bracket right now on this podcast. This is going to be the official Brandon's World March Madness bracket. And folks, if you want to tweet at me at real_pworld and change some of my picks, or if you want to comment on the YouTube channel, however you want to reach me, go ahead and do that. This could be your bracket as well. Let's try to win some money, and let's try to be the only person in the world to have a perfect bracket. I've done more research than I have in typical in years past when it comes to college basketball, because I'm helping out some of my friends with an auctioneer for the March Madness bracket. Very excited to do that. So again, I've done more research than I have typically in the past. I feel like I have a more understanding of the March Madness tournament this year. Without further ado, here we go. We're starting things off in the West region. Number 1 seed Gonzaga will defeat number 16 Georgia State. I believe number 9 Memphis is a dark horse here. Now, if they did not get Gonzaga in round 2, I think Memphis could make a run potentially to the Elite Eight of the Final Four. I really like Memphis this year. I think that they knock off Boise State in our first quote-unquote upset. Now, I'm going to take UConn, who I also like a lot this year, over New Mexico State. Now, Vermont and Arkansas. Now, you take a look at these statistics that they have here on ESPN.com. You can see they are very similar to this. You can see Vermont 17-1 in the conference. You can see against the top 25, though, Vermont did not play many top 25 teams. They only played one top 25 teams. They went 0-1. But take a look at Vermont's defense. They only give up 60 points a game while averaging 75. On the other hand, Arkansas, they give up almost 69 points a game, but they score 77. I think this is a closer game than people think, but I will take Arkansas here over Vermont. Now, Alabama, we don't know who their opponent is. They're going to play either Rutgers or Notre Dame, but I believe at least for the first round, Alabama will win. So give me Alabama there, who's a 6 seed. Up next, number 3, Texas Tech against number 14, Montana State. I'll take number 3, Texas Tech. Number 7, Michigan State against number 10, Davidson. I'll take Michigan State. And number 2, Duke. I'll take to beat USC Fulham. So in the West region, the only upset, quote unquote, I have here is number 9, Memphis over 8, Boise State. Going down to the East region. Or excuse me, let's not do that. I'm not going to go in and edit this out because I'm doing this on the fly. Let's just take care of the West region. We'll go region by region. So let's go then to the round of 32. You would have Gonzaga against Memphis. And as I have already said, I like Memphis a lot. You take a look at their statistics again. Memphis is averaging giving up 68 a game. Gonzaga is 65. First top 25, Memphis went 3-1. Gonzaga went 5-3. You can see in the conference, while Memphis went 13-5, they got out late to end the season. Gonzaga 13-1, but they went a mid-major conference. You can see Gonzaga's points per game, but obviously, as I said, they dominated the mid-major conference. I think this is a very close game. I think Memphis could very well upset Gonzaga. So I think Gonzaga is at least a lock for the Final Four. I think that they are on a revenge course and what Baylor did to them last season. I got Gonzaga beating Memphis. But again, would I be surprised if Memphis wins? I would not. Now, at number 5 versus number 3, I'm going to take UConn, who I already said I really like a lot this year, a very experienced team. I'm going to take UConn to upset Arkansas. That's going to make Gonzaga against UConn in the Sweet 16, which again is another big matchup for Gonzaga. They have a tough road, in my opinion, to get to that Final Four. Now, Alabama against Texas Tech. I'm going to take Texas Tech over Alabama. My typical rule here is I do not love basketball schools that are football schools like your Alabamas, your LSUs, your Ohio States. I tend to take your Dukes, your North Carolinas, your Kansases, your more basketball schools, than football schools. So that's where I'll go with that. Now, number 7 against number 2 here, Michigan State against Duke. Duke is the number 2 seed, but there's something off this year. Duke did not win the ACC tournament. I know this is Coach K's last season. They could be inspired to do this because you never know when it's going to be Coach K's last game at Duke as Duke's head coach. But I believe Michigan State got Duke a couple years ago. I think Tom Izzo knows Coach K, and Michigan State went on a good run in the Big Ten tournament. I like Michigan State here to upset Duke and take on Texas Tech then in the Sweet 16. Now, here we go. In the Sweet 16, you got Gonzaga against UConn. As I mentioned, another tough road for Gonzaga, but I believe they barely squeaked this one out as well. Texas Tech against Michigan State. You take a look at the statistics here. Now, these are two very close ball games. Receive versus the top 25. Texas Tech has the advantage in the conference. Texas Tech has the advantage. They're a very good basketball team. You take a look at notable results. Gonzaga, they lost by 14, but they did beat Baylor twice. Michigan State did lose to Kansas. They lost to Iowa. They lost to Baylor. I like Texas Tech here, the number 3 seed, to match up with Gonzaga in the Elite 8. And then I will take Gonzaga to go to the Final Four. I like Gonzaga. As I said, I feel like that they're destined to make the Final Four. But could I very well see, in some of these brackets, I will do this. I'll take Memphis in an upset, or I'll take UConn in an upset. Absolutely. Again, I feel like Gonzaga is destined to make it, but they're going to have a tough road to New Orleans and the Final Four. Let's move on to the South Conference. I like Arizona here as the number 1 seed. Now, number 8 versus number 9 seed all against TCU. This is a real toss-up game because as much as I like Seton Hall, I feel like they're usually a one-and-done team. They'll usually win one game and move out. I'll take them here. I'll take Seton Hall over TCU. We'll have Arizona against Seton Hall. Now, Houston against UAB. I'm going to take Houston. Illinois at the number 4 spot against Shenandoah, who was a 13. I'll take number 4 Illinois there. Number 6, Colorado State against number 11, Michigan. Now, up until yesterday, Michigan wasn't even projected to make the tournament. I think coming off the Juwan Howard thing and all that, I think they're going to be eliminated pretty quickly here. I'll take number 6, Colorado State. Number 3, Tennessee. I'll take to defeat number 14, Longwood. Now, here is my projected upset in this region, in the South region. I like Loyola of Chicago to upset Ohio State, who got bounced early in the Big Ten tournament by Penn State. We know Loyola of Chicago. We know Sister Jean. We know this team likes to ride and great upsets in the tournament. We know their experience. I'm going to take Loyola of Chicago, and I'll take Villanova as well to defeat Delaware. So that sets up, again now, back at the top of the bracket, Arizona against Seton Hall in the round of 32. Arizona this year is one of the best teams in the country. I'm going to take number 1, Arizona. Now, number 5, Houston against number 4, Illinois. This is a very, very interesting matchup. You take a look at their opponent's points per game. Obviously, Houston, very good defensive team, only give up 59 points a game. They did not play anybody, though, in the top 25. They went 0-1. Illinois, 4-4 in the top 25. You take a look at their notable results. Illinois, they lost to Arizona by only 4. Houston, against Wisconsin, they took an L by 2. At Alabama, they took a loss by 1. They have defeated Memphis this year. They have defeated SMU. They defeated Oregon this year. Illinois, as I already mentioned, they lost to Arizona. They lost to Purdue. Iowa, though, they defeated. Wisconsin, they defeated. But they lost to Ohio State, but they defeated Michigan State. A lot of mixed bags here from Illinois. I'm going to take number 5 Houston in an upset, quote unquote, against the number 4 seed Illinois. Now, number 6 Colorado State against number 3 Tennessee. Tennessee, who of course won the SEC. I'm going to take Tennessee, and I like Villanova. We all know how great Jay Wright is as a coach, but this is another, in my opinion, trap game here against Loyola of Chicago, who I think will play their hearts out. I think that they will play their dogs out, but I think it's a close loss. I'll take number 2 Villanova. That sets up then in the Sweet 16, Arizona against Houston and Tennessee against Villanova. I believe that Arizona picks up a win here, and I think Tennessee, the SEC champs, are ready for Villanova. It will once again be a 1 versus 3, and give me Arizona against Tennessee in the Elite Eight. I will take Arizona, as I already mentioned, boom, out of the South. So you have Arizona and Gonzaga as 2 of your Final 4 teams. I believe 2 number 1 seeds do make the Final 4, that being Gonzaga and Arizona. Gonzaga certainly has a tougher road, though, than Arizona. Moving on to the East region here. I believe Baylor takes out Norfolk State. I think North Carolina takes out Marquette. Very close game, but I like North Carolina. I think St. Mary's will win against this playing tournament right here. You take a look, or excuse me, I clicked the wrong button if you're watching on video. But you take a look at the numbers here. SMU, pretty good basketball team here for St. Mary's. I'm going to take St. Mary's. Now, UCLA is facing Akron, who obviously defeated Kent State in the MAC tournament finals after Kent State pulled their little stunt last Friday night. We talked about that on the Austin Arnold Show. Let's Get It Straight yesterday. Again, make sure to go check that podcast out. But I'm going to take your UCLA over Akron. Now, Texas against Virginia Tech. You take a look at these numbers. I was not the biggest fan of Texas this year. Yes, they won 21-11, but only 3 of 8 against the top 25. I give you Virginia Tech went 2-3, but these are very balanced teams. You take a look at their top results here. Texas, they got destroyed by Gonzaga. They did beat Kansas, but they lost to Baylor. They lost to Texas Tech. They barely beat Tennessee. Now, on the other side, with Virginia Tech, they beat Duke. They beat North Carolina this year. They did lose, however, to Wake Forest. They lost to Xavier. They lost to Dayton. They did beat Notre Dame. So, again, a mixed bag here. But as I said, I haven't loved Texas all year. I think we get an upset here. I think Virginia Tech knocks off Texas. Now, I'll take Purdue over Yale and Murray State against San Francisco. San Francisco is a very guard-level team. You take a look. Most of these guys did not play many top 25 teams. Murray State, though, went undefeated in their conference compared to San Francisco. Obviously, Murray State has a lot tougher of a conference. I'm going to take Murray State here over San Francisco, and I'll take Kentucky over St. Peter's. So my big upset here is, again, Virginia Tech over Texas. Now, I have a big upset here in the run of 32, though. I'm going to take North Carolina over Baylor, and I'm going to take UCLA over St. Mary's. I don't think Baylor is as good as last year. I think they are frauds. I think North Carolina is a very experienced basketball team, and I think Baylor is one of the first number 1 seeds to be eliminated. Now, Virginia Tech against Purdue. I'll take Purdue. Kentucky against Murray State. I'll take Kentucky. That sets up in the Sweet 16. 8 versus 4. North Carolina against UCLA. And as I mentioned, there's something about North Carolina. They just knocked off Baylor. I think they go in against a very good UCLA team. I think they pulled the upset. I'm putting North Carolina in my Elite 8 to take on Kentucky and I think they do fall eventually to Kentucky. So in my final four, on one side, I have Gonzaga, the number 1 seed, against the number 2 seeded Kentucky. Now, you take a look here. Number 1, Kansas, I'm going to take in the Midwest. I'm going to take San Diego State, number 8, over number 9, Creighton. I'm going to take number 5, Iowa, over number 12, Richmond. I'm going to take number 4, Providence, over number 12, South Dakota State. I'm going to take number 6, LSU, over number 11, Iowa State. And I'm going to take number 3, Wisconsin, over number 14, Colgate. Here is my upset in the Midwest region. I'm going to take number 10, Miami, over 7, USC. I'll take Auburn at number 2, over 15, Jacksonville State. That sets up the round of 32 between Kansas and San Diego State. Now, I love Kansas this year as much as I love Kentucky and Gonzaga. I think those should be the 3 favorites. I'm going to take Kansas here, and I'm going to take Iowa, who's been a very good basketball team this season, playing well, as a way to upset number 4, Providence. That'll put in the Sweet 16 Kansas against Iowa. LSU against Wisconsin. Wisconsin is one of my favorite teams in the tournament. I'm going to take Wisconsin at number 3, taking on number 2, Auburn. But I'm going to have Wisconsin win that matchup against Auburn, and I'm going to have Kansas win that matchup against Wisconsin. So you have Kansas against Wisconsin here, number 1 against number 3. The winner faces number 1, Arizona. I think Wisconsin's a very good basketball team, but I think they fall to number 1, Kansas. I have 3 number 1 seeds in my final 4 this year, with number 2, Kentucky, being the other team. I'm going to take Kansas against Kentucky. I believe in the national championship, and this year, I believe Bill Self against John Calipari. I believe John Calipari and the Kentucky Wildcats, as the number 2 seed, take home the national championship trophy. Again, let me know if you disagree with any of my picks.